Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday night right here on We the People, presented by the Diamond Factory. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Project 2025 and A Tale of Two Cities. I chose San Diego, of course, because I live here, and Minneapolis, due to a lot of the work that I had put in during the George Floyd incident. And so I wanted to use those two cities as a kind of a conduit to show how this Project 2025 works. But during that particular time, I have found that I had been totally uh, misplacing Brother Derek. I thought he was in the D.C., Virginia area, and he is actually in Atlanta. And so that brings a whole new dynamic into this conversation. And we'll kind of deal with that a little bit later on. But I did want to get into my little monologue. And once again, this is my opinion, not necessarily the opinion of those of the panel. But tonight, we'll pull back the curtains on a blueprint. And that blueprint doesn't just reshape Washington, but it reaches deep into the streets of Minneapolis and the neighborhoods here of San Diego. Project 2025, it's more than a policy document. It's a quiet revolution disguised as reform, promising order while dismantling overnight the speaking of liberty while tightening controls. So we ask, what happens when federal guardrails vanish and cities are left to police themselves? What happens to black and brown communities when uh, equity off excuse me when equity offices close, when clinics disappear, when Title One dries up, and when the metrics of justice are redefined by ideology instead of evidence? Um, in San Diego, we have redlining, which has brought zoning laws, and in Minneapolis, where the ink is barely dry on a DOJ consent decree. Uh, the conversion isn't hypothetical, it's imminent. Tonight, we'll examine the Project 2025 America, what it looks like from the ground up, and from the classroom to the clinic, from the patrol car to City Hall, because before we can fight back, we have to understand the playbook. I see Brother Derek is down here in the queue. Let me grab him, and I think that's Brother Masada down there also. Uh, Brother Derek, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good, James. Good day to be alive, despite all the craziness, and good to be on the show.
Every day is a good day, but
Amen.
as I said, I had your geography all kind of twisted here. I thought you were still in the D.C., Virginia area, and you're right down there in the hotbed. You're right there in Atlanta.
I'm in the A. Yeah, I've never been in D.C. I used to go up there a couple times a year, but that's the difference in difference in me and the people, all the political people working inside the belt. I'm out in the real world, the real people, the real issues. This Delta, coal mine country, Kentucky, South Florida.
You kind of going in and out there, brother Derek.
Okay, interesting. Let me turn up the volume a bit. Okay, is that better?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just saying, yeah, no, I wasn't in the DC bubble. I went up there a couple times a year for meetings, but I'm out here in the real world in the 8 southeastern states from the Mississippi Delta to Miami and South Beach up to the Kentucky coal miners, all that whole area. So, yeah.
all right. Brother Masad, how are you doing this evening?
Uh, man, You know what? We here. We good, but not good. Disclaimer: for I don't work directly for the federal government, but I work with organizations that deal with the federal government things. So we are funded by it. So it is federal government news I get on a daily. And so sometimes I'm shocked by things, and I don't pay attention to news all the time. And I had a coworker. We had a meeting, and they talked about how snaps were going on the first, and that immediately as I heard that, I felt stupid again in this world of did I just hear what you just said? There's about to be a whole lot of angry, hungry people out there. Why would you? Oh, I know why you do this. I know why it's happening. So I'm feeling like, oh man, it's just warming up more. We're talking about this 2025, but they putting a lot of things in there in our face right there to make it go. So I'm feeling good, and at the same time, I'm feeling like, oh shit.
Well, maybe we can talk a little bit about that because, as you know, a lot of SNAP and different programs are especially essential to seniors. And most of us, got a notice, that our SNAP benefits would not be handed out in November. And in a way, it kind of made me happy. And the reason why I say that is because I think that a couple of things will happen. One, grassroots people, will finally come to the realization that this government is not meant for us. And they do not care whether or not we have a spoonful of grits, a spoonful of rice, or nothing. I mean, and then let's go on the opposite end where you have children. You have mothers with babies that will not be getting their benefits this month. This means that you have children that are, for all intents and purposes, being asked to starve their children. Now, Derek, I talked, about when, you weren't allowed to pass out water to voters standing in line. Now, I don't know the, statistics in Atlanta, but I know that there are only a certain amount of food banks here in San Diego. So on the first, these neighborhoods are going to be overwhelmed. These food banks are going to be overwhelmed. A lot of these organizations that supply, food different farmers markets. A lot of these agencies will no longer be funded. So, Derek, from the Atlanta perspective, and when and I'm going to use the term, I mean, what is it? You guys are like, it was the new Atlanta for one.
The Black Mecca. How about that?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll throw that
yeah,
one out there. How
yeah.
about that?
There you go. So, is are there any plans, or are there anything in the works to try to alleviate this problem?
Well, I'll tell you what our governor said today. And one thing good I can say about our governor is that he didn't go along with Trump's plea to convert all those votes. I just need 11,000 such and such vote. He didn't do that. But he did do a hell of a lot of other crazy stuff. And one of the things today, he always brags that we have a $16.5 billion surplus. But he said that he is not going to step in to supplement the U.S. government, Trump's suspension of the SNAP benefits. And the average SNAP benefit, James, is only $350 a month. So you can do that easily if you want to, but they want us to feel this pain. And, now they're also implementing these the work requirements and all these other things. And the bottom line is this money's going to the president's billionaire buddies. I'll tell you a couple of other things. The governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, and you all may recall that there was some militia who had this plan to capture her.
Yeah.
Perhaps kill her, but certainly hold her hostage. And there's lots of militia in Michigan. But she said this week that her state feeds 1.4 million kids on SNAP. And of course, that's going away. So what are you going to do? Another thing that's worth mentioning, I want to share is that so if things continue as they are planned, in Head Start, where a lot of our kids, critical to our kids, right? Because you're already behind. So that's why we have Head Start. And so Head Start, 134 Head Start centers across 41 states are scheduled to be shut down. And they support some 59,000 children. And so they're going to be without funding. So they want us to feel this pain, and they really do, and they don't care. And while I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, but I think there's a real difference in saying that the lesser of two evils, because those folk are not they're not that cruel, because this is a lot of their base. Although Trump's base is going to get really hurt in this, because the rural communities, and there's so many poor white people out there. Black people, they voted for him. They're going to be hurt, probably a lot more than many of us in the inner city, because we used to struggle and not have it. That's where it is.
That's the key point. You brought up everything. My little argument and my little sentence I was about to say. I know it's affecting older people, and they think it's affecting us. I was happy with you, James. Well, first of all, hi everybody too. I didn't even say that to you, Derek, to you, James, hi, and all that, but I was just getting right into it. What you said earlier, you said you were kind of happy. My feelings and my emotions are mixed with it too, because I am happy. When they told me about it and we talked about it, my first thing was, in a good way. Like, now you're about to wake up. When they say sleeping giants, we've been trying to wake up. Now you're about to wake up people who they didn't think it affected them, and people who thought that they were on that side. They thought it was a race war, a color war of, I'm a good old white person. It's not affecting me. Now, a lot of them that have guns and a lot of them have anger issues are about to be more of, why are y'all doing this to us? And now it goes from us to, oh, y'all are doing it, to y'all are including us with everybody now. We're not on with y'all. And all that can do right now is it's gonna burn and it's gonna hurt, but every bad thing can lead to great things. And I think we have to do this, because now people can't say it doesn't affect me, because it's about to affect a lot of people. He just read the number of Head Starts it's affecting. Thankfully out here, so part of the programs we're with, we're covered, but we're not covered for long. We're covered. I think they told me until like July. I had a parent ask me the other day. They said, "How does this affect us?" And I said, right now, we have a great CEO. We have a great company that they plan for this, and they're trying to hold out. But you're going to hold out for so long, and then when it affects the more people, it's like a real domino effect. The more people it affects, the more we have to unite. The more we will unite, and the more it's not okay. It goes away from Republican and Democrat. It goes away from black and white, and it goes to what it really is: the have against the have-nots. I've said it all the time, and now people are really still. Once again, I'll keep saying it. They're finding out you thought you were a have. You're a have-not.
Absolutely.
I feel you know exactly what you're saying here, but you know, like it also goes to me even a little deeper when you talk about kind of spitting in the face of the masses. Um, there are contingencies built into every budget, isn't there, Brother Derek, where uh, these programs can be funded temporarily. But I, I seem to be perplexed here, because there are things that are happening that has never happened before. We talked about the military and them not getting paid, but we see that there has some billionaire or whoever has kindly stepped forward and decided that he would fund the military. He would graciously pay them for the month of October. Now, I don't know what we're going to do for the month of November, but that's a different story. But my point is, why aren't there other millionaires that could step forward and fund these programs philanthropically and bypass the government, Derek?
Now that could happen. You're correct. Now I would say this though, it really is illegal for private industry to fund our federal government's military. Now
Yeah, that makes
they may
us mercenaries. As a matter of fact, that makes us mercenaries.
yeah,
Not,
yeah.
I mean,
No, it may happen, but I mean they talk about that, but let's see how long if it really actually happens, because those people were in food lines today. They've been in food lines, and that's the only reason it happened. Yeah, he told Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to find the money, but you know they're sitting on the money. Let's not forget they just sent $40 billion to Argentina to bail them out. Argentina's been bailed out more than any other country. And what's that about? See, and you know, even the white farmers, most of our farmers are white, but the white farmers who raise all this beef and cattle, they're pissed off because that's cutting directly into their revenue. And so, you know, that's to me, that's one very encouraging thing about the No Kings marches that we had last week. There were mostly out there. It wasn't people that looked like me and you. It was those folk pissed off at their government. You know, you this country has been allowed to piss on you and me and black and I would say yellow people, brown people, yeah, but not them. So I think there is an awakening, and we had to get to this place for it to happen.
uh, Masada, Brother Derek brought up a very good point there. We can send all this money over to Argentina, uh, and uh, this is definitely cutting into our beef exports, our farmers, and cattlemen. You also have I believe it's Brazil, where everybody's buying their soybeans now. All of a sudden, we don't have a soybean market. Uh, every day, I have a hashtag called booming economy.
Mm.
And every day I show a business that is either closing down, filing for bankruptcy, or just plain, going out of business. Now, I don't quite understand because we have been given and shown a tool that works, and that's the power of the boycott. But it seems like, when you mention boycott, people think about, Martin Luther King and the old days. But Masada, we have a viable dollar. If we would spend our money with us, or at least, I've been part of this Target boycott for months now, and you can actually see where some of these companies are actually hurting because they missed that black dollar.
Mhm.
Masada, have you run across any examples out there, in your travels where you can actually see where, there is a trending, need for us to spend our money with ourselves and to stop feeding it into the machine?
Yeah, honestly, everywhere, and honestly, where Derek at? One of my last travels to Atlanta, even on the outskirts, I found there was a lot of black businesses. I'm a pescatarian, borderline vegetarian, so looking for food outside of California sometimes for me or Oregon is very hard, and I found it very surprising that there were a lot of black-owned conscious health businesses out there growing, and it was really good. But throughout the nation, you said it earlier. One addressing the billionaire that's funding the military, that is like mercenaries. And my question is, what do you want for funding them? Because you could have funded feeding families for thousands a year for however long you've been alive, how long you've been a billionaire, and now you just decide to do the military. I smell fishy stuff. I don't think that's just out of a good heart, because out of a good heart, it would have been happened. So we got plenty of places you can go and build up neighborhoods and put that $1 billion of yours or 100 million, which is like nothing to your billion, to use. Secondly, with the black dollar, you say spending on it. We have before I talk about it all the time. I really dislike the subject. We have a lot of black millionaires. We have millionaires on the Forbes list. So, and the argument is they're doing this or they did that, and I'm like, cool, but you have local people who don't have that many millions. I don't know. I'm not counting nobody Pikers, but you have people like a Slim Thug or people like Paul Wall and them. They're doing things in Texas and building communities. And I know there's a few others I'm missing, but we have so many. Why can't I name everyone? You know what I mean? Killer Mike did a tour. I forgot the white guy he was doing a tour with, but he was trying to. While on the tour, all he wanted to do was spend his money, the black dollar, with the black man, with the black business. And it was so hard for him to find weed and spend it right with us. It was hard for him to find a lot of different things. Now, mind you, he would go from places like Oklahoma, Indiana, and all that, or Idaho and all that. And I get the different crowds and all, but some places in America, I've been to 44 states. Some places we are not only the minority, we are like the 0%. But then there are some places we are the majority. And in those places, we aren't the majority business owners. We aren't the majority anything. And if we go to a black business nowadays, we always have this impression that we've given to ourselves or we let other people put on us about the black business isn't that good, the stereotype. And sometimes, unfortunately, we live up to it. I went up to LA with an old friend. I was taking her to see her brother in the home. And for me to take her, it was like the deal was we'll go out to eat. She's going to pay for it. She only wanted to go to black businesses. I can only eat seafood, vegetarian food. I'm cool with that. I love soul food. LA got a lot of choices. We go up there. It says the place opened at 11 o'clock. I'm with the old black lady who just drove from San Diego and went to visit her brother. Y'all know, they want to be at home. They want to be on their timing. We get to the restaurant. It's 11 o'clock. We give it to 11:05, 11:20. She's like, yo, I'm ready to go. We calling, they're not open yet. I'm like, let's give them a chance. I'm looking for places now because she's pissed. They open at 11:30, 30 minutes past. That's fine. We get in there. We look at the menu, the big menu they have up. She wants cornbread. I want cornbread. Like, this is real vivid. I'm telling it because it's really vivid in my head about black business trying to get a black dollar. I want cornbread. She want cornbread. We wanted, they had potato salad up there. Everything we wanted, they didn't have. Why is it on the list? Okay, sisters, y'all just open. We're going to order this, bring it to us. An hour later, we get our food. And we see several customers come in like that and be disappointed and all. And it was like, well, I still want to do it. And we still did it. But the point of that whole story, everybody, is that nowadays it's like the phone or internet. Everybody wants everything now. Everybody, it's like Amazon. It's like Target. We want it quick and easy. So now it's the inconvenience when we are trying, because sometimes we don't come with that business mind. And when we're trying, if we don't get it quick and easy, we're quick to look at each other and say, I'm not going back to that black business. But if Starbucks is running late, or one of these other businesses I don't want to name, but one of these other white companies, we give them slack because we're like, oh, they're used to this, or they're busy or something like that. So in both those scenarios, we have to look and do better. They have to do better. We have to do better as a business catering to each other, but we also have to do better as a business going to each other and understanding business and trying to help that person. So what we did was told them we would be back, but we opened the better. We told them what we didn't like and gave them advice, and didn't do it in a nasty way, and still was there. So that's what we have to do to try to build each other up. And I find that's hard for us because we're not known for that. We're known to not give each other any chances. So I think we need to give each other chances. And somehow it's not a plea no more to none of these black millionaires and thousandaires and all that. But somewhere in the line, we do got to help each other, because once again, they had Black Wall Streets and Central Parks and things that we could talk about in history when we had less a little bit. We had less, and somehow they were able to do more. Now we have more, and we have more of us with more, but now we have less. It makes sense.
That's a good point, because even though we have more, the thing that I find, and I can understand it, is that we are now less willing to share. When you have a little bit, it's okay, and if the neighbor wants a cup of sugar or, a cup of flour, that's fine, But when I have a Cadillac and the big house on the hill, I don't want that neighbor asking me for a cup of sugar, or, because that's taking me back to where I came from. That's who I used to be. Now I'm a whole new person. Am I wrong here, Derek?
No, and we talked about this kind of last week with Brother LaSalle, right? I think that we have, to a large extent, as Black people, lost our sense of community. A lot of our best and brightest have moved out of the inner city. You've taken a lot of the, there's still plenty there, but the intellect, the capital, genius has gone, and now we're so much more divided by class than we are race. Even though we know, you and I know that you're still black, right? And Oprah found that out when she went into the store in Paris, and we got examples of that, right? They told Michael Jordan he couldn't join that country club on the south side of Chicago, the all-white country club, even though they were fawning over him in every other way. And so I think that the sense of commitment that our leaders had, and that I think resonated down throughout the community, we've lost some of that, because you're right. There's so many athletes and entertainers. We got the resources, we got the money to take care of our people and to take care of people, period. But I don't think the commitment is there. And I think that we have, we've just lost a lot of that. And I don't know when it happened, but, and you were talking about back in Martin Luther King's day, and I'll go back to this, in Operation Breadbasket, that, for example, that was really kind of spearheaded ultimately by Jesse Jackson, but it came out through the SCLC. But whereas like in Chicago, they literally boycotted these companies that wouldn't hire black drivers, wouldn't hire black managers, and they put some of them out of business. That's what the Montgomery bus boycott was about in 1957. And they walked, literally, maids were walking 10 and 12 miles a day to take care of white kids, wash clothes and dishes and be nannies, because that bus system in that town, and there were 80% of the town was black folk, but they were being disrespected. And before that bus boycott, that 381-day bus boycott, Montgomery's black people had the reputation was that they couldn't come together over anything. But when they disrespected Rosa Parks like that, and again, she was the third or the fourth black woman who had been arrested for refusing to give up her seat, but she was the model case. And so that when you put people's money at risk, they broke the back of that cities and made them come to the table. And so, yeah, that's important. Even when I was at the SCLC in the 90s, I'll tell you what some of the things that we did. My old boss, who did the benediction, Joseph Lowery, at the end of Obama's first administration, and he instituted something called Teach Our Dollars Some Sense. And his whole thing was, we need to put our money in black banks. We need to be like the Jewish people, and have that money turn over 7 times in our community before it leaves our community. So he was teaching things like that. And another economic initiative that we had, we pressured and challenged companies like Publix, Shoney's, and Texaco to sign these economic pacts, because they said, look, you're going to come in our community, you're going to make all this money, and again, you're not going to hire us, you don't have black vendors, you don't have black store managers. And so we signed $400 million compacts with them that where they had these metrics to institute these equity sharing opportunities, or we were going to go back to the streets on you. So it's effective. And Jamal Bryant from Atlanta, of course, the one that really is driving the Texaco boycott, he came up through that system. Because I remember when he was a pup minister out of Baltimore, coming down to celebrate the King holiday with us and lay the wreath at a 20-something-year-old. So he's learned that. So it still works if we as a people are willing to, to bite the bullet a little bit and sacrifice and give up some of those conveniences.
That's commitment on both sides. It's not just our millionaires or billionaires.
That's right.
It's right. All of us to be able to commit it too, because the thing that happened was when James is talking about you get the Cadillac and you go up on a hill, it just didn't change because now I'm up on the hill and I can't give you sugar. What happened was I got on that hill, I got that Cadillac, I gave you some sugar, I gave you a whole bag, you didn't bring it back. Then I gave you another bag, you didn't bring it back. I let you use my Cadillac, it came back flat, came back with Hennessy stains in it. And now I'm like, okay, I'm not giving that to y'all no more. And then now we are fighting each other because we both don't want to realize, okay, they're giving, we have to do better as well. It's to me, I'm really on it, Derek and Brother James. I'm not blaming either side, both sides, every side that you can think of.
But it's kind of like what you said about the black business. You know, do I have to bend over backwards to give you my money? Do I mean, how many inconveniences do I have to go through when I can go to the guy right next door and get it now?
Commitment. Commitment. He just said they didn't think that town and the people to come together, and they came together. Nobody thinks it's going to happen, but now we're saying that we are more alike than we're not, and it is about socioeconomic status. It's not about race anymore. It's about class. So,
that's it.
So, when you talk about class, okay, and you talk about uniting, and once again, I'm going to play the pessimist here because I wrote a little thing about this purple revolution and whatnot. Now you have these so-called Trumpers that oh, I shouldn't have voted for him. Oh, I made such a mistake. Oh, we should unite now and get this guy out of here. But once that goal is attained, what happens then? Do we stay united? Do we break off back into our little segments because now the big war is over and I want as much of the pie as I got before? As a matter of fact, since I fought, now I want even more of the pie.
We know better, we do better. That's what my whole thing with us, as talking about us, always talking about a revolution. It's not going to be televised. We going to do this and this. My whole problem is that I want us to understand that if we are that God figure, we are that, then I see it all the time. I seen it the other day. With much power comes much responsibility. And so you have to show them better. My kids remind me all the time, Brother James and Brother Derek, they remind me all the time. If I'm saying it and I'm doing it, they're going to be doing it. If I'm saying it and not doing it, or I'm vice versa, that we get it from you. So I have to be better. I have to show you to be better. So once we do get it, we all can see and enjoy peace together and know what love is together. There's no separation. I talk to the black community first, you all, because I grew up as a black man. I'm 6'4", you know what I mean? I remember being 12 years old with a trophy bigger than me and the cops pulling me over and my mom and grandma on the block looking and wondering what the hell's going on, scared. And so I talk that, and my kids, I always say they mixed and all. I love the world. I've been around the world. When you travel, you understand we are all one. I always say between Malcolm and Martin and all that, Malcolm knew it before Martin. Martin knew it before Malcolm. Malcolm had to go to Mecca and learn it and see it. I know it. I learned from them. We have to get together first. Once we get together and know how to, they had a study on that black dollar. You said the Jewish dollar goes out 7 times. I want to say, I want to give us one, but I can't even bet if somebody give me $1 million to get it right. I can't even bet that it was one time that the black dollar stayed in the community before it went somewhere else. So we got to do better. We got to understand that when we get in that power, we get in that position of whatever people call power, that responsibility is great. That great responsibility is, I get tired of hearing we should learn from our past. We should learn from history. We never learn. Every person gets in position and gets in power and does the same thing. When we talk about this 2025, with the snaps, with everything going on with healthcare, with them taking DEI and all that, you got to cause anarchy. You got to cause chaos to cause fear to get control. And that's what this is all doing. It's all everything, every tactic that he's leading up to is trying to spread fear and control. And what it's really doing, though, is showing people that Michael Jackson said it and Tupac said it, and I'll say right here, they don't give a fuck about us. And once they start saying that us includes us as in United States, like, oh shit, you mean us powerful Texans folks gonna feel it? You mean us Alabama folks and Mississippi folks and and Ohio and Kentucky and Virginia. You mean us folks?
North and South Dakota, everywhere.
Yeah. Oh shit. North, South Dakota, Montana.
Mhm,
Oh, I'm filling
mhm.
it up here, boy. Yeah. Oh shit. West Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's gonna be what we gonna do. What we gonna do now? You know what I mean? You ever been in a situation with somebody that says I, and then they need your help and they look at you and be like, "What we gonna do?"
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
I can give you a few examples, but anyway, Masada says something, that it took me back, to the kind of old days, about the revolution which shall not be televised.
But this one will be.
But that's what I was thinking. I mean, when you look at, like the Vietnam War, for instance, nothing happened until it was televised. You look at the different Rodney Kings, George Floyd. Nothing happened until it was televised.
Absolutely. Well, in 1963, when they turned the fire hoses on the children in Birmingham in the Children's Crusade, and which knocked some of their eyes out. You knocked them on the ground, and remember Bull Connor and the German Shepherds? And, so because when that was televised, and it embarrassed the hell out of America because, companies, China and Russia, the communist companies say, see how they treat their people. These are Americans, how they're treating the black people. So, and back, if you go back to the 20s and the 30s, when a lot of our great stars went over to Paris and Europe because they wanted to escape this racist system. But what I'm saying is America had held itself up to be this, bastion of freedom, justice, and equality. And when it was shown that there was not the case, then I think it touched a lot of even white people. There are good white people. I know a bunch of them. Okay, we have a lot of white allies. Now, question comes down to how much.
I know a lot of good black people.
Absolutely. But now the question then comes in, how much skin in the game are you going to put in there? But I mean, they're putting it in there now out there. I don't know if you guys happen to, of course, I'm a news junkie because I'm a newsman. But I remember in Chicago, of course, when they raided that high rise and not just pulling out black, brown undocumented people. They pulled black people out butt naked out in the street and arrested them because it's all the same to them. I think the ICE folk, but yeah. I saw them knock down a young, attractive white woman on the street in Chicago. ICE did. I'm saying, so when they'll do that to one of their own, they really don't care, and it is about enforcement. And I think we're headed towards martial law. And he's trying to get us comfortable and used to that. If it's a city he doesn't like the leadership, he's going to go in there and do what he's doing, just like he's blowing up all these supposedly drug mule ships across the, the world.
We now have a fleet going to the Caribbean, which is... as far as I know, there's a hurricane.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that means that you're also putting troops in harm's way.
Mm-hmm. And this is supposed to be the America First isolationist president, right? And now we're dabbling in all this stuff, and I think we're trying to set it up to go in and take Venezuela's oil. That's what I think is.
Well, I mean, there has to be some type of end game in order for him, to. I mean, as anyone even, it used to be, when you had one of these drug interdictions, as we used to call it. And they were bringing up, they had the cocaine in the fast boats, and back in what was that, Miami Vice days, and all that. I mean, they showed some bales of something, at least floating in the sea or something, like
We ain't
this.
seeing none of that.
we,
No evidence.
none
No
whatsoever.
evidence of weapons of mass destruction.
That's it. That's it. I think they're playing Hexa. He's got Hexa playing war games out there, just experiment. Okay, we can do this.
Well,
we can
that's
do
why
this.
there's a reason why you go from the Department of Defense to the
Mhm.
Department of War. That the words speak for themselves. But there's also, I and I might be wrong, and maybe I haven't found the right research yet, but I have not found a shipping or container company that belongs to or is owned by anyone in the Black community.
Hmm.
And as I continually say, I've never seen, any immigrant running through my backyard with a ton of cocaine on his back.
On the ground.
And I'm only, we're less than, 40 miles from the border, but so, a lot of this stuff that's aimed at, the so-called Black and brown community. And when you take 1,000 workers and one gang member, it kind of seems like this ratio is a little, to be, politically correct, a little fucked up. Masada, I mean, maybe you've seen these mysterious drug mules running through San Diego. I mean, it just seems a little. It just seems a little crazy for them to, to run through my backyard when there's a whole Pacific Ocean out there. But that's
I was a Marine, so they always joke and say we're the Department of the Navy, and we always joke and say the men's department. I think all the military are the same, but that joke for me is funny because the Navy is out there, and I think the Navy and the Coast Guard protect our seas. So if you protected American borders, how are all these drugs? It's always been since before I was born. How are all these drugs coming in if we don't own any boats, planes, and all that to get them shipped in? You know what I mean? We all know, once again, that movie or picture, the series Snowfall depicts it all. The CIA, the government, we all know it's America. Now I am disturbed and happy at the same time that everybody's finally jumping on and getting to see what people have been complaining about for years, people of minority status or Black status or people who don't like our government. It's not the government per se. Is like working for a company and knowing the company is great. The system in place is kind of effed up, but if you had better employees and better workers and better managers and leaders, it would be better. And right now we don't. Right now, whether you're Democrat, Republican, I don't care. You hear me? You're in the government. We, even in the military, we said the oath, foreign and domestic. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Right is right, is wrong is wrong. I'm pretty sure somebody can find some impeachable things if they wanted to. I'm pretty sure there's probably 30 impeachable things he did today just by waking up. And that's giving him not that much credit. You feel me? So, it's wild. I mean, even if you go to Long Beach with all those shipping containers and all that, it's heavily guarded and armed and all of that. So, you spoke on the Department of, or what is it, of War now or something?
Yeah,
what about the DOJ and all the people he was getting rid of and all?
That's right.
They're doing it on purpose, and we're allowing it to happen.
Yeah, removing the guardrails, and again, when Nixon was impeached and run out of office, it was the Republicans that ran him out. But these Republicans are spineless, and they're complicit, and they're going to do whatever he says. Bend over, lube yourself. They're doing it, and so that's just kind of what
I think we threw the lube away a long time ago.
I was giving a little benefit of a doubt, but okay.
He's
Grab your ankles.
He's just raw dog now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But as I was saying, resilience is fine, but there has to come a time when resilience also meets resistance. And in some people's mind, we are already in a civil war. And when I say civil, I'm not talking about, like good morning, sir, and how you doing, and manners. I mean, there are people that actually believe that you know uh, it's, I don't know, maybe less than 3/5. Uh, you've spoken of our allies, uh, uh, brother Derek, but part of Sun Tzu's strategy is also to know your enemy.
Oh, yeah. The art of war, right?
We are at war.
Yeah, yeah, we are. We are. We are.
I mean, uh, is it too late to send in a peace delegation?
It's been too late. It's been way too. People,
I mean,
you can't have peace with people who don't want peace.
Hmm. Hmm.
going back in history again, everything that we've taken by conquest. So, why do we have to be so civil now? Um, and we've learned that all wars are not waged uh, on the battlefront, but some of your uh, most effective wars are waged economically. And uh, as we were saying before, Derek, now we have the farmers, we have manufacturing that is leaving here in droves, things, all these things that we have been promised. But the one thing that has increased is surveillance on the American people. Now we kind of went through this, we, meaning us, with Fred Hampton and SNCC and all every
The
organization.
SCLC, all of them.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of those.
Deacons of Defense, keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and they were either bought off or annihilated.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke of martial law, and we see ICE in, for some reason, I don't know why, we see ICE in all of these blue cities.
That's it. That's it.
Uh, I haven't heard of them going through the Russian neighborhoods or
Nope.
any of those neighborhoods, because none of those people are illegal. Uh, but Derek, I mean, once again, do we have the tools as a people to go to war?
We don't have the tool. I don't think we have the tools to go to war with guns and weapons. I mean, we could, but you're not going to win because what are we, 12, 14% of the population? Remember when Obama was elected, more guns were purchased than any time in our history. So, they got tons of guns, and not to say we don't, but I'm saying there's different ways to win the war, right? And I think we have to employ those, but we have to get on the same page, to do it. I'm going to recommend two books that you brothers may want to think about reading if you have not. One is Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and that's how we've gone in and taken over these countries, taken over their finances. You cripple them, you devalue their dollar, you take it over, and you that dollar goes to your coffers, which is what we did in Iraq with its oil. And another one called
Repeat the first one.
Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And this was one of these key government officials, undercover government officials who was deployed to do just that. And another one was called The Creature from Jekyll Island. And this is when these top businessmen in the country, Getty and DuPont and all these people, about 12 of them went to Jekyll Island, Georgia, and they met. And they created the Federal Reserve Bank. And I tell you, the Federal Reserve Bank is nothing federal about it. It's a private enterprise all over the country. And so there's a lot of stuff that, happens that we usually don't know about. And we're just pawns in the system. But knowledge is power.
But now, and we've spoken this before when you talk about economics. To my knowledge, Derek, is there only one black bank in America at this particular time?
There are more than one. There are more than one. I don't know how many there are. But yeah, there.
I mean, I see Capital One. I see, I see
Citizens Trust Bank.
All these apps, where you can easily get access to, whatever type of finances. Charles Schwab. I'm sure there's some
Fidelity and all those people. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some black stock companies, own stock companies and whatnot. But isn't it time that why aren't we out there, telling it? One thing, like not being seen in today's world. I mean, you have AI, you have this, you have that, but we can't exist in silence anymore. I mean, the word of mouth was good when we, had, the party line and, stuff like that. But, but nowadays we got these, we got handheld computers.
That's true.
I have to go and research black banks. But if I put bank in my little thing up here, I can get 40 of them. But if I want a black bank, I got to put that in very specifically. If I want a black trucking company, I have to put that in very specifically. But I mean, are we still trying to use Dark Ages methods in a modern society where, speed and recognition is everything?
Masada, he got you right here. Go ahead, Masada.
It's influence. We have the greatest firepower. You fighting. I was with you all the way, Derek. I wasn't thinking guns and all of that. I'm thinking in any aspect of a word, we have the greatest number one. We have influence. We are the influential. Nothing happens without us doing it.
Yeah.
Nothing. So the greatest firepower we got is, y'all said, the dollar takeaway. Listen, I have to say this because I want my brothers and everybody to understand when I say my warriors and my brothers. I'm not knocking no entertainers, no nothing like this. This is what I'm saying. The reason I say them is influence.
Yeah.
Imagine if you take away their power, us taking away, we're not watching it. We're not watching it. We're not spending no money. We're not doing it. Them, they're not playing. They're not doing nothing unless they get the power. That's how you give the power. They might not give you 100% of it, but after 2 months of This is gonna sound ignorant but real. I gotta be hood. I gotta be me. I try to be as professional as I
Do
can.
you? Do
sometimes,
you?
But like my shirt says, "Be you, not apologetic." Right?
Yeah.
I love all my people. I love everybody. But whoever the hottest white boy right now in the NFL or NBA, you think if it's like a whole bunch of NBA of them, they're gonna watch that. If all of us, Stephen Curry's and LeBron's and all of us pull out,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do to y'all? They gonna take away your $1 million contracts? They may, but after 2 or 3 months, 5 months, when ain't nobody watching their NBA no more, because y'all say Jerry West on the logo, but who? Let's be honest, who really watched Jerry West like that when he was playing? Everybody was talking about they were talking about everybody else is like Jackie Robinson when he came into baseball. They might not want to say his name, and they might want to say Babe Ruth is like the greatest slugger in the world and all that. We know. I mean, they're making Shohei the example now, but we know you can't take away a Barry Bonds, a Griffey, or all of that. So my hitters, I don't like to say that word no more, but my hitters, if we really wanted it, we got the greatest firepower in the world. We got influence because they up and gave it to us. If all of us come together and say we ain't playing until we own a percentage of a team and y'all make us owners, what you gonna do? You not gonna get the it's so many levels for it, and it's scientific, and I'm so sorry because I do love everybody, but I'm not watching a whole bunch of white chocolates on the court. I want to see Embiid's and Giannis's and all of them. And they know this, I know this, we all know this. So that's why I get so frustrated. That's why I speak out. That's why I'm always talking to them and talking to everybody because I don't know if people actually are talking to them to get everybody together. They probably live a different life, a fast lane. You're not worried about different things and you're doing your part. Because even the Bucks, I remember for the George Floyd and all that, they stopped playing. I get that. What's the next steps though? If that don't work, go higher for the boycotts. They boycotted. I do believe in local. What was they? They weren't cities at first, but then they went up to cities, and then it went up to state was boycotting, right? And it was felt all the way around. Then the nation got into it. Boycotting a game or a season is cool, but imagine really taking power. And I'm telling somebody, as in if that was a whole bunch of me's and we all sat back, what are you gonna do without us? You can do it for maybe 3 months. That stadium, them bills gonna come in. Them people want to go and see somebody play. They want to see some hotness. Give me a percentage of that, and then that's how we can start building back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I digress.
But here's the thing: if for 97 out of 100 years, I've established the fact that this is mine, and I am the master, and you are the pawn. How am I supposed to undo 97 years of habitual behavior?
Word of mouth. You said word of mouth, and I said this. This is faster. Education. You know it now. We all know it, man. Listen, we're on here on this. There's no secret in the world about us being oppressed. There's no secret about who has the power. That's why I say what I said right now. Everybody can not love me or hear what I say, but they know it. You're going to go see a Michael Jordan or LeBron over or Jerry West or somebody else, and that's no disrespect. Just facts. So how are we going to do that? 97 years and that 97 out of 100, that 3 years to the 100, we got cell phones. We got, what'd you say, mini computers in our hands? There's no more how are we going to do it. We can do it now. They know it. They just, somebody else besides you or me. Listen, Brother LaSalle talked to me the other day, and he said, I had somebody tell me all y'all doing is talking. And I said, first you got to talk about something to bring it out and bring it alive. Somebody hear you talking about it, then the other person with the power. We all can't do everything. It's going to take all of us to play a different part. It's going to take another influential person. It's going to take another millionaire. Somebody asked me about a rap person one time, and I don't like to say their name. I don't like to speak on people. And they say, what you want him to do? Call all his friends and say, yo, do this? I said, yeah, why not? If everybody loves them as the number one and they do whatever they're going to say, what's the harm in that? That happened many years ago.
Call all his friends when he wanted to give a party, right? He called all his friends in.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then, if you got big companies and all this, make a call or two. That spreads. So talking about it helps, but planning it helps, and other people getting aboard of it helps. We need everybody to play their parts in different parts, and that's where we have to let go of ego. We have to let go of greed. Actually, I've been wanting to say this, brother James and brother Derek. So y'all got to hear me out. Hear me out. I'll take 2 minutes at a time, and I'll be done with it. Right? Because people are always asking me, what do I want out of this? They're always asking me, why do you say not apologetic? And I tell them it's a war cry. We are not apologetic. I want you to say it loud. I want you to say it proud. Not apologetic. We don't kneel before greed. We don't beg for freedom. We claim it. We don't whisper truth. We roar it. This world's been fractured by ego, sold to the highest bidder, bent beneath the weight of lies. But we are the dawn breaking through the smoke, the silence before the storm, and the storm that follows. We rise, not to destroy, but to build, not to conquer, but to unite. We fight for education that frees. We fight for healthcare that heals. We fight for leaders who serve, not rule, for a planet where every life has worth and no one's left behind in the shadow of another's greed. We are the children of defiance, the builders of a new dawn. Our allegiance ain't to flags, it ain't to prophets, it's to humanity, to truth. I spoke on truth the other day, to being real, to each other. Let the old world tremble. Its empires built on fear will crumble under the weight of our unity. We fight not with weapons, brother Derek, but with wisdom. Not with hate, but with heart. Not for dominance, but for deliverance. And hear me and hear this. Not apologetic for me means freedom for the soul. We believe in this world, you should be whoever you want to be. Do whatever you want to do. Love whoever you want to love. As long as you're not hurting nobody, be you, be real, be not apologetic about it. Because me, Masada Ellis, I believe we are all gods and goddesses. Divine, powerful, limitless. Wake up and see it. It don't matter about your color, your past, your name, your scars. You are you. And that's enough to change the world. So rise with us, with me. Stand tall with us, with me. Speak loud with me, with us, for you, for us. Be free, be fearless, and be not apologetic. The world will remember because we are one. And that's what I be wanting to tell everybody, because everybody keep talking about you too loud, you too this, you ain't educated, you ain't. Fuck all of that. I'm gonna get ignorant at the end of it. That beautiful thing is not ruined because I said fuck that. Because we need to wake up, y'all. I am here for all of us. We are here for all of us. You got me with that, brother James. You said, how are we gonna do that? There's no more secrets. I have 3 of these things right here, and I'm on one right now. There's no secrets in the world. We got headphones. We got. What are we talking about?
Yeah, we have all of that, and brother Derek,
I share, brother.
There has to be a way, for us to be able to be free men and women without having to be apologetic about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why don't you give us your final thoughts before we go off there, brother Derek?
Well, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that when my children wears this shirt all the time, unapologetically black, and we don't need to be apologizing for who we are. And I'll say this again, as a Christian, we are who God created us to be, and we just have to live into that and be that strong, indomitable force that we are. And I think that because we are so resilient and so strong, that a lot of people do fear us, but we don't have this desire to dominate other cultures. We want to love people, but we want to be loved back. I remember when Doc Rivers, you were talking about when they boycotted in Milwaukee after George Floyd. And I remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, and I write about it in my book. He was having this press conference afterwards and talking about why they weren't going to play. And after they had just seen that guy over in also who had been shot in the back, Jacob, I can't remember his last name, by a cop just getting into his car 7 times. But Glenn Rivers said, tears welling up. He said, I'm just tired of loving a country that can't love us back. Now, I do love this country, but I think it's like we talked about maybe last week. It's like our kids, you know, we love them and we have to love them enough to correct them when they're wrong and to guide them the right way because we don't want them ending up in a box. We don't want to come and lay flowers on their grave. We visit them in prison. We want them to be out doing their thing, productive and strong, but we have to teach them the skills to survive. And so one of the things I did want to say in leaving is want to talk about, again, the Affordable Care Act. Now, Trump took all these subsidies to give to the taxes, to big tax breaks to his billionaire buddies. And these subsidies are what allow people who like wait tables and cut hair and stock grocery stores who may be making, now you got to make more than this in California, but some places in the country, they may be making $13,000 to $18,000, $19,000, a year. And they can't have a car, have an apartment, and eat and have health insurance. So these subsidies allow them to get health insurance sometimes for $50, $75, $80 a month because people who do have more are supplementing that. And so he's taken all that away because, again, I think he wants us to hurt. So even our very ultra conservative MAGA Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who Jasmine Crockett got all on. I don't know if y'all have seen her about Bad Butch Blonde and all this, but
Yeah,
she found out that
Jasmine Crockett.
yeah, her two adult children found out that their health insurance is going up 400%. And so it's going to be a whole bunch of them are going to get sticker shock. So we're going to lose of the 22 million people that have affordable health care. They won't be able to have it. A whole bunch of them won't. And what's that going to mean? They're going to wait until they're so sick they have to drag themselves into the emergency room. So, he doesn't care about anybody. I'm not sure he cares about his family, but so we are in this thing, and I think we have to be in it to win it, but we had to get uncomfortable, and the reason we're doing what we're doing, and it's important, the first stage is information. We got to make sure people know we are in a crisis. We're in the fight for our lives. We're in the fight for this country's lives, and it can't just be that group of people and this group of people. It's going to take all of us who are being victimized and set to the side for the upper 1% of people. So I'm glad we're doing this. I thank you, James, for continuing to put this forum up here so that we can, and we're going to grow it. We're going to keep growing it.
Usually I'm kind of satisfied letting you guys give your final thoughts, and we kind of sign off. But tonight, I have to make mention, and Brother Derek, I'm sure you may not have heard about this yet, even though we all know you probably have. But this week, due to the renovations in the White House, we have moved the bust of Martin Luther King from prominent display in the White House. Now, first we have the utter disrespect for the portrait of former presidents, because as we know, Obama's portrait has never been hung in the White House during his administration. We also have a plaque that was dedicated to the police officers that were hurt during the riots of January 6th. We all remember the brother that practically saved a bunch of lives right there in the White House.
Misdirected the mob.
And if you don't notice the subtleties, then maybe you should at least feel that slap in the face. We have a black admiral that has resigned because of not wanting to follow unlawful orders. But in the face of all of this, there's one thing that we have to remember, and I know it sounds really crazy because a lot of persons have lost faith, but I truly believe in the power of the vote. And if we are going to be heard, we have to start filling the ballot box. We have to start voting for ourselves and not let other people vote for us. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, then keep coming back. We'll educate you. Have a good week, everybody. Brother Derek, Brother Masada, I want to talk to you after things over. And Brother Derek, hang around for a minute. So
Absolutely.
thank you, everyone, and I look forward to talking to everyone again next week, right here from We the People.
Peace.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right.
I have some things on my chest.